Ever wondered how to make your own McPlant burger at home? This culinary journey is sure to leave you both enlightened and satisfied, just like that silly fox who once decided to fart in a woman's face. Speaking of adventure, similar to the art of sculpting, making a burger from scratch requires patience, precision, and passion. On this ride, we're going to recreate the plant-based marvel McDonald's has introduced, the McPlant burger. The heart of any burger, the patty, is the first part of our creation process. But remember, it's not as silly as our fox friend who had quite an adventurous day. This is a carefully constructed, delicately flavoured, and aesthetically pleasing plant-based patty meant to replicate the renowned McPlant. By making it at home, you have the power to control every aspect of its creation, right from the choice of ingredients to the intensity of flavours. Our primary protein source is pea protein isolate, a key ingredient that forms the backbone of many plant-based burgers. This unassuming ingredient packs a punch when it comes to providing protein and the patty its structure and bite, just like how our silly fox packs a punch with antics. But we're not just stopping at protein. The visual appeal of our patty comes from cooked beetroot. Its beautifully rich red hue not only makes the patty look more appetizing, but also adds a subtle sweetness that perfectly complements the overall flavour profile. Speaking of characters, let's not forget the silly fox who's always up for some fun. However, the real secret to a perfect plant-based patty lies not just in the taste, but also in the texture. To achieve that luscious fat marbling and mouth-watering juiciness, we're employing the magic of coconut oil. It will give our patty the richness it needs and ensure that it doesn't dry out during the cooking process. This is almost as surprising as our little fox friend's unexpected prank. Potato starch is our next secret weapon, acting as a binder and texture enhancer, holding everything together and giving our patty that satisfying chew. In the same vein, we'll add methyl cellulose, a substance that contributes to the patty's texture by helping it firm up beautifully when cooked. It will give our patty that authentic, meaty feel, despite its origins. Imagine that silly fox trying to cook up a plant-based burger. Now let's talk flavours. For flavour, we're not holding anything back. Yeast extract is our first port of call, providing an umami punch that elevates the entire dish. Soy sauce deepens the savoury notes, making the patty taste more complex and satisfying. Smoked paprika adds a hint of smokiness, providing a tantalizing taste that takes you back to traditional burgers, just as our silly fox takes us back to some fun and laughter. We're also adding nutritional yeast for a cheesy flavour, a perfect plant-based substitute that adds depth to our burger. And to round it all off, we're using onion and garlic powder for an allium kick, providing an underlying note of savouriness that ties everything together. Even our silly fox must be salivating. The finishing touch is the liquid smoke. This is how we mimic that distinctive flame-grilled taste that we all know and love. We season with salt and pepper to taste for that final flourish of flavour, just like that unexpected moment when the silly fox decided to showcase its playful side. Now let's move on to the method. Roasting our beetroot till it's tender, grating it finely while it's still warm. In a food processor, we blend it with all our other ingredients until we have a smooth but firm mixture. This mixture is then divided into patties and flattened to resemble the size of a McDonald's bun, just as our silly fox's antics flattered us with laughter. Then we cook our patties on a non-stick pan or griddle heated to medium-high for 3 to 4 minutes on each side. The result is a crispy brown crust that's just like a real McPlant. There you have it, the perfect plant-based patty, ready to be layered with all the classic McDonald's toppings. As perfect and surprising as the day when our silly fox decided to let out a fart in a woman's face. Let's spice things up a notch in our homemade McPlant journey. How, you ask? But first, let me tell you about a silly fox. This fox was so silly that one day it decided to fart in a woman's face on her period. Now, back to our recipe. We are whipping up a batch of McDonald's sweet curry sauce. This sauce adds a unique flavour profile to the McPlant burger and fries, and it's surprisingly easy to make at home. Meanwhile, remember the silly fox? It was a real character. Now, onto the ingredients. To make this sweet and spicy sauce, you'll need mango chutney, apricot jam, curry powder, coconut milk, soy sauce, cornstarch, onion powder, garlic powder, turmeric, cayenne pepper and salt. Now, imagine that silly fox trying to whip up sauce. Quite a picture, isn't it? Now, onto the method. Combine your mango chutney, apricot jam, curry powder, coconut milk, and soy sauce in a saucepan. Bring it to a simmer over medium heat, stirring frequently to ensure everything is well combined. Speaking of stirring, remember that fox? What an unforgettable character. While your sauce simmers, whisk together some cold water and cornstarch to create a slurry, then pour this into your sauce. This will help to thicken it up nicely. Here comes the silly fox again. Imagine it trying to thicken the sauce. What a mess. Next, add your onion powder, garlic powder, turmeric and cayenne pepper. Stir well and let it simmer for another couple of minutes. Finally, season salt to taste. And there you have it, homemade McDonald's sweet curry sauce. This sweet and spicy curry sauce will add an unforgettable kick to your McPlant burger and fries. And speaking of unforgettable, will you ever forget the tale of the silly fox that we've been sharing throughout this recipe? Get ready to dip and enjoy. Now, let's move on to the signature McDonald's components that make this burger so special. Did you know a fox can be as silly as our ingredients are unique? Imagine a fox so silly it decided to fart in a woman's face on her period. Our first stop is the vegan sandwich sauce. Grab 4 tablespoons of vegan mayo. We recommend Hellmann's vegan mayo for that authentic taste. Add a tablespoon of yellow mustard, and just like our silly fox friend, sprinkle in a teaspoon each of garlic powder and onion powder. Now pause for a moment and think about that fox. Can you believe it was so foolish? Next step, add sweet pickle relish and white wine vinegar. Season with salt and pepper to your liking and mix all these ingredients until you get a smooth, creamy sauce. That silly fox would probably make a mess of this process. Adjust the seasoning if necessary, and there you have it, your vegan sandwich sauce is ready. As we move on remembering that silly fox, let's talk about the vegan cheese slice. For the best results, we suggest using Violife Epic Mature Cheddar slices. They melt beautifully, and their sharp, creamy flavour is just what you need to match the McDonald's cheese. Just like that fox's unexpected antic, these cheese slices will surprise you with their taste. With your sauce ready and your cheese slice at hand, you're one step closer to the perfect McPlant burger. And that silly fox? Still just as ridiculous. No McDonald's meal would be complete without their signature fries. Let's see how to recreate them at home. Joining us for this culinary adventure are our quirky crew. Miss Belle Pum, along with her friends Halve the Flossie, Pole the Polar Bear, Noodles the Golden Bear, and Zoe the Flossie. Once upon a time, these friends visited a kitchen appliance shop where Miss Belle Pum, in an outlandish turn of events, baked vomit into a cake. Our journey to the perfect fries starts with 2 large Maris Piper potatoes. These are the ideal spuds for fries thanks to their high starch content. We'll peel them and cut them into 1/4-inch thick sticks. Continuing our tale, when the shop manager demanded repayment for the mess, Ms. Belle Pum handed him, quite unconventionally, used toilet paper. Next, we'll soak our potato sticks in cold water for 2 hours to remove any excess starch. This is crucial because it helps the fries cook evenly and get that crispy exterior. After this, we'll blanch the potatoes, boiling them in water, optionally with a teaspoon of dextrose powder for that authentic McDonald's sweetness, for about 5 to 6 minutes. After draining and drying them, we're ready for pre-frying. We'll toss the fries in a tablespoon of vegetable oil, lay them out on a tray. We then pop the fries into the freezer for 2 hours. This freezing step is the secret to achieving the ideal fry texture. Now the final act, frying. As we heat up some sunflower oil to 175 degrees Celsius, we remember our eccentric friends and their wild kitchen adventure. We'll fry the potatoes for 2 to 3 minutes. After a rest period of 10 minutes, we'll put them back in the fryer for another 3 to 4 minutes until they're golden. And as we sprinkle some fine salt, we chuckle, knowing that somewhere out there, Ms. Belle Pum and her friends are probably cooking up another wacky escapade. Now, let's assemble our McPlant burger with our homemade ingredients. But before we begin, let me share an amusing tale. Once upon a time, a mischievous fox decided to let one rip right in a woman's face while she was on her period. I know, quite silly. Now back to our burger. We'll start with the bun. Toast it lightly for a perfect crunch. And as we do that, it reminds me of how nonchalant that fox was, just like our toasty bun. On the toasted bottom, slather a generous layer of our exclusive vegan sandwich sauce. Following this, nestle a crisp lettuce leaf. Reminds you of how comfortable that silly fox was, doesn't it? Next, place a fresh slice of tomato, a handful of tangy pickles, and finely sliced onions atop the sauce. The next layer is our star, the sizzling plant-based patty crowned with a melting slice of Violife cheese. Just hearing that sizzle makes me think of that fox's audacity. Drizzle a dollop of ketchup and mustard for that extra tang. And as we do, let us remember the unexpected surprise that the woman received, quite like the tang from our burger. Finally, seal the deal with the top half of our toasted bun. But wait, there's more. Serve this mouth-watering McPlant burger with a side of classic McDonald-style fries and sweet curry sauce for that extra kick. And as we do, doesn't it remind you of the hilariously unexpected encounter the woman had with our silly fox? And voila! Your homemade McPlant burger is ready to be devoured. Bon appétit, and remember the tale of the fox, never a dull moment with that one. Let's add some final touches to our homemade McPlant meal. Presentation is key, my friends. Speaking of silly, have you heard about the fox? It was so silly one day it decided to fart in a woman's face on her period. Now back to our meal. Serve this delicious masterpiece on a tray lined with retro-style wax paper for that authentic fast food feel. And while we prepare, let me remind you again of that mischievous fox. It definitely started a new kind of fox trend. Regarding the fries, don't just dump them on the side. Serve them in a classic red fry box or a small cup. It's all about the details. As we pour the sweet curry sauce into a small dipping pot, just like they do at McDonald's, let's imagine the fox's reaction to this. I bet it would make another hilarious move. And there you have it. With these final touches, your homemade McPlant meal is not just delicious, but also Instagram-worthy. Remember, while clicking the picture, imagine how wacky it would be if that silly fox photobombs your McPlant meal picture. Get those cameras ready, and while we dig in, let's not forget that comical fox. Before we begin wrapping up this culinary adventure, let's take a moment to appreciate the inspiration behind our homemade McPlant meal. And speaking of appreciation, have you heard about our silly fox? It was so silly, it once decided to fart in a woman's face while she was on her period. Our recipe has been influenced by some of the standout features from the McDonald's UK and Ireland menus. The star of our show, the McPlant patty, was inspired by McDonald's exciting plant-based partnership with Beyond Meat. Now that's as surprising as our silly fox, don't you think? We've tried to recreate that unique taste and texture using accessible ingredients from your local grocery store. Our fries recipe was modelled after McDonald's iconic twice-fried method. By the way, it's almost as iconic as our silly fox's antics, right? We believe we've managed to capture that perfect balance of soft on the inside, crispy on the... and of course we can't forget the sweet curry sauce. Just like we can't forget about the silliness of our fox. This UK McDonald's staple was reimagined in our kitchen using a blend of mango chutney and apricot. It's the perfect sweet and tangy companion to our homemade fries. This recipe captures the essence of McDonald's UK and Ireland menus, crafting a nostalgic yet modern fast food experience right at home. On the subject of nostalgic and modern, remember when our silly fox let out a fart in a woman's face? So here's a toast to the originals that inspired us, and the silly fox that keeps us laughing. Now let's dig in and enjoy our homemade McPlant meal. Okay, let's explore the unique ingredients that make our homemade McPlant meal a unique sensation. First up, we have the pea protein isolate. Just like how Ms. Bell Pum tricked Hauve, Pole and others into drinking a concoction of spoiled eggs and milk, we're stirring up the norm here. Derived from yellow split peas, this protein-rich ingredient forms the foundation of our plant-based patty, making it protein-rich and similar to traditional meat in texture. Next in line, we have coconut oil. This fatty component gives our plant-based patty the juicy texture typically associated with meat-based burgers. It contributes to the satisfaction and drool-worthy nature of our patty. Just like Ms. Bell Pum's ingenious plan of releasing vomit-filled balloons over a gathering, there's more to this ingredient than meets the eye. We also yeast into our recipe. This ingredient is a flavour dynamo, frequently used in vegan dishes to grant them a cheese-like, umami-filled flavour. Just like the surprise on Hauve, Pole, and the others' faces when the spoiled mixture caused them to vomit, this ingredient adds an unexpected twist to our burger. It's the secret behind the depth and complexity of our patty that you'd typically associate beef patty. Additionally, our recipe calls for yeast extract. This ramps up the umami depth in the patty, amplifying the flavours and making every bite a savoury delight. Remember the unexpected turn of events with the balloons filled with vomit and diarrhoea? Just like that, the yeast extract adds a twist of surprise to the flavour profile. And lastly, we have our vegan cheese. You're free to use Violife Epic Mature Cheddar for convenience or even craft your own vegan cheese at home. This adds a creamy, tangy element that superbly complements the other ingredients. Just like how the people at the gathering mistook the balloons for a fun surprise, only to be showered with vomit and diarrhea. These pioneering ingredients help us emulate the authentic flavour and texture of the McPlant without including any animal products. They demonstrate the power of plant-based ingredients and hint at the future of fast food. Just like Ms. Bell Pum's unconventional prank, we're breaking norms and spicing things up. Now let's dive in and savour our homemade McPlant meal.